At my brother's wedding, my parents publicly humiliated me, not knowing that I owned the company organizing the entire event. In response, I ordered my team to pack up and leave. 300 guests were left without food that I built my company, Verdant Fare, from the ground up. What began as a food truck during my university years grew into one of Boston's most sought-after catering firms. It took grit, sleepless nights, and sacrifice, but the business became mine in every sense. This is important because it explains what happened at my younger brother Leo's wedding, an event that collapsed into disaster. For context, my family and I have been estranged for 6 years. My mother died when I was 14, and within a year, my father Alexander remarried a woman named Beatrice. She made it clear she wanted no trace of my mother's memory. My father complied. I resisted, and the distance between us only widened. The rift deepened in university. I worked multiple jobs to cover tuition while my father fully financed Leo's private education. Beatrice mocked my ambitions, calling my business a snack truck game, while Leo's finance career was endlessly praised. The final betrayal came when they sold our childhood home without telling me, discarding all my mother's belongings. When I confronted my father, he dismissed me as overly emotional. That day I cut all ties. Then, out of nowhere, came an invitation to Leo's wedding in the Hamptons, accompanied by a handwritten note. I miss you. Let's try again. Against my better judgment, I agreed to attend. I even offered to cater the event as a gesture of goodwill, but Leo politely declined. They had hired another company. A sting, but forgivable. The ceremony was beautiful. Leo seemed genuinely glad to see me, and for a moment, hope flickered. Beatrice, however, greeted me with icy disdain. Her remarks about my appearance and career were as cutting as ever. Worse, the seating chart placed me far from family, at a table with distant cousins. It was a reminder I was still the outsider. During the reception, everything unraveled. My father, drunk and slurring, stormed to my table and accused me of crashing the wedding, though I held the invitation in my pocket. He called me a disgrace, shouting that my presence alone ruined Leo's day. Before I could reply, Beatrice joined in, asking sweetly how much I made playing restaurant owner. She even mocked my suit, insinuating I couldn't afford it, that I refused to give them the satisfaction of a scene. Quietly, I excused myself and headed for the parking lot. But then I noticed the catering staff preparing the main course. Several faces looked familiar. They were my employees. Shock gave way to clarity. The catering company Leo had hired had recently been acquired by Verdant Fare. I hadn't been directly involved in this booking, but legally, the event fell under my control. A quick call to my operations manager confirmed it. The realization was electric. This was my event, and my father had just declared my very presence an insult. I remembered his words, a disgrace ruining the wedding. If that was true, then surely they wouldn't want my company serving their guests. Calmly, I instructed my team to pack everything and leave immediately. 15 minutes later, 25 employees loaded the food, equipment, and servingware into trucks and drove off. 300 guests were left without a main meal. Panic rippled through the estate. My father stumbled after me, shouting, but the contract, now mine, contained a clause permitting termination in the event of hostile or discriminatory behavior. This situation qualified. I handed the venue manager my business card and told my father he could have his lawyer contact mine. The fallout was immediate. By morning, my phone overflowed with accusations. Selfish, vindictive, cruel. Leo's furious text claimed I had destroyed his wedding and proved Beatrice right. My father threatened to sue. I forwarded everything to my lawyer and blocked them. But then the unexpected happened. Guests began reaching out. Some had witnessed Beatrice's taunts and my father's drunken tirade. They applauded my restraint, even praised the efficiency with which my staff withdrew. One guest, a former client, apologized for what I endured and promised continued business. Meanwhile, rumors tore through Beatrice's social circle. Her perfect facade cracked. She blamed me, but no one seemed convinced. The story had taken on a life of its own. Did I feel guilt? Not really. I didn't crash their wedding or start a fight. I was invited, insulted, and exercised my contractual rights. They didn't want me there. Therefore, they didn't need my services. Simple. And yet unease lingered. Had I gone too far? Was I truly justified? Or had I let years of bitterness dictate my actions? Still, I decided to share my story online. The response was explosive. Thousands weighed in. Some lauded me for standing up to toxic family dynamics. Others questioned whether business should ever intertwine with revenge. The debate only sharpened my uncertainty. Then came the escalation. My father and Beatrice filed a lawsuit. My lawyer assured me the contract was airtight, designed for precisely this scenario. But lawsuits are messy, and family lawsuits even more so. The night before the first hearing, I received a message, anonymous, no number attached. It contained only 8 words. Verdant fare won't survive. What's coming next? When the wedding descended into chaos, I thought the nightmare would never end. But the venue's security cameras had caught everything. My father's furious tirade, Beatrice's sneering insults, and the atmosphere that shifted from celebration to humiliation in minutes. My lawyer wasted no time. A sharp, detailed letter was sent to their attorney, complete with evidence proving how hostile they had been. Their response? A demand for a full refund and compensation for supposedly ruining their special day. It was laughable, but we played it carefully. My legal team countered with an offer, a 50% refund, but only if they signed a strict non-disclosure agreement and a waiver of all future claims. It was the only way to shield my business from their endless vendettas. As the legal battle simmered, Beatrice tried to launch her own war. She began drafting vicious online reviews, but the venue manager, an old friend, caught her and blocked the posts. We quickly followed with a cease and desist letter, warning that any further lies would be treated as libel. Ironically, the disaster became a hidden blessing. Several guests reached out afterward, not with complaints but admiration. They were stunned by how swiftly my team regained control and kept the event from collapsing further. My reputation for setting firm boundaries and managing crises grew stronger than ever. A strange silver lining to what should have been a crushing blow. Then came the unexpected call. Leo, my brother, the groom, contacted me through a cousin. His voice cracked with guilt as he admitted he should have defended me, but had been paralyzed by fear of our father and Beatrice. He asked to meet, but I postponed. I couldn't face him until the legal dust had settled. Eventually, it did. My father and Beatrice surrendered to our proposal. Their lawyer's final letter was cold, lacking apology, but it sealed the deal. They accepted the refund under the NDA and waiver, silence from dragging my name through the mud again. Legally, the matter was closed. Personally, it was far from over. Beatrice shifted tactics, targeting my employees and whispering poison to business partners. We intercepted her LinkedIn messages and responded with yet another legal warning. She had crossed into dangerous territory, threatening my livelihood itself. Meanwhile, whispers from the family grapevine painted a different drama. Leo and his new wife Olivia were in turmoil. Olivia, disgusted by the wedding spectacle, accused him of cowardice for failing to defend me. Their honeymoon was postponed as they confronted long-buried truths. For the first time, Leo was forced to see the manipulation and dysfunction for what it was. I should have felt vindicated. Instead, I felt a complicated mix of sympathy and grim satisfaction. When Leo and I finally met, the air was heavy with old wounds. He apologized, not just for that night, but for years of silent complicity. Then he revealed something startling. Beatrice had convinced our father to sign over much of his wealth to her, including part of Leo's own home. Betrayal burned through his words. Now, with a financial advisor, he was disentangling himself from her control. He and Olivia had started couples therapy. They were searching for a new home titled only in their names. Olivia even confided to me later that they planned a vow renewal, smaller and intimate, with seating designed to symbolize a healthier circle of trust. It was their way of reclaiming family on their own terms that, as for my father and Beatrice, silence became their mask. I heard through acquaintances that their social circle had begun pulling away, their carefully maintained facade cracking under scrutiny. It was justice of a quieter, colder kind. Through it all, I learned hard but priceless lessons. Boundaries are non-negotiable, even when set against family. Protecting myself wasn't selfish, it was survival. Strangely, my resolve seemed to inspire others. Employees, clients, even relatives saw that it was possible to resist toxicity without losing everything. Business thrived beyond expectations. Far from destroying me, the scandal highlighted my team's professionalism. New contracts poured in. My employees stood firm by my side, and their loyalty reminded me why I built this company in the first place. We had faced humiliation together and emerged stronger. As for family, I've made peace with one truth. I want no ties to Beatrice or my father. They revealed who they truly are, and I believe them. But with Leo, there's a chance for something new, fragile but real. Our conversation was the first stone laid in rebuilding a bridge that once seemed beyond repair. For now, my story reaches its pause. The chaos of that cursed wedding left scars, but also unexpected growth. I walked away with stronger boundaries, thriving business, and the possibility of a healthier bond with my brother. Sometimes the most brutal storms clear the path for something better, and perhaps that is justice enough.